I was thinking about doing a video today and I started it and then completely kiboshed it because it just wasn't working out. So I figured that today for this week's video, we could do like a little chat, kind of like if we were to meet at a coffee shop and you kind of wanted to pick my brain on how I got into becoming my own boss and starting my own business, because there are some really two key things that happened that are kind of crazy, and I wanted to share it with you because it's the first time where I really talk about what we call like the woo-woo stuff, like the manifestation and really going for what you want, and the belief that there is a higher power really helping you get towards the goals and the dreams that you want to get to. So if you're into that sort of thing, or if you're like wanting to dip your toes into that sort of thing, I wanted to share two amazing stories that got me to where I am today. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, keep on watching. How I started my business. I basically, in August of 2020, was scrolling through TikTok and I saw someone who made a TikTok about how that she was a virtual assistant and that she was making, I think at the time that she was doing like $60 to $80 an hour being a virtual assistant, helping out business owners with whatever they needed help with. For some reason, that TikTok, there was this like out of body experience where my heart started pounding really, really fast. And there was like this immediate urge to take action. And that has never happened to me before. I've always wanted to start my own business or do my own thing. As you may or may not know, I've had a YouTube channel for years. I have like this other channel that I've been just like making fun videos for fun. And this is like more of my business channel. The light is always changing. This is like looking pretty weird, but I'm filming this later on in the day, so it just kind of looks off. So if the light is changing, I mean, just like deal with it, I guess. So basically it was probably like a Friday or Saturday night, and I saw this TikTok and there was this feeling of wanting to pursue this further. Now, when you're just like scrolling through TikTok, you're usually like mindlessly being like, oh, that's cool, next, like you usually would. But this time it was different. This time I was like, maybe I should just go check out this girl's Instagram, like see what she's all about. Just so happened she was doing a live that same night. Everything kind of like fell into place at the same time. And in that live video, she basically was saying that she's starting this whole coaching program to help people get into the virtual assistant business. Since she's been a virtual assistant, she's had so much success with it. And then there was another big push. You should do this program. You should do this program. And I never like reach out to people. I never reach out to people on Instagram and like DM them and whatever. And I DM her and I'm like, I'm interested in the program. Like, how much is it? It was a 4-figure investment. I was like, what? Like, am I really gonna actually do this? I was thinking to myself, okay, like, sure, it's a lot of money. I've never, invested in myself like this before, except for maybe like school. So I kind of was like, okay, well, it's kind of like school, like you're learning something, but it was still a lot of money. And so I told my boyfriend, I was like, okay, this is something that I want to do. This is how much it is. He's like, well, that's fine, but like sleep it off and see how you feel in the morning. Because I still had this really intense urge, and this has never happened to me before. So I go to bed. The next morning, I message her and I give a deposit and I go to this coaching program, and it was the best experience ever. And it was so much fun to learn about the virtual assistant business. And I was able to make my investment back, in a couple of months. And so it was all worth it. But at the time, like when I was telling people that I was starting this, they were like, what have you gotten yourself into? Why have you given this stranger on the internet money? Like, this is definitely an MLM. Wasn't bothered by it. Like years before that, I probably would have cared like what people said about it. I would have maybe listened to them more, but I was totally like focused on the goal, and I was like, yeah, no, it'll be fine. Like, if it doesn't work out, like, it doesn't work out. I'm still in a position where I can take that risk. So it just turned out that way. So that was story one of how I started in the business. I thought it was interesting to share that experience because it was like 0 to 100. I didn't really like research it, or I didn't really like think about it for a couple months and then go for it. It was the first time where it really just pulled me in. Every time you have that gut feeling, like really just listen to it and ask yourself, there is something worth noting here, right? Like being able to be open to pay attention to those signals. I would have a totally different life right now if I didn't pay attention to that signal. That's story number 1. Story number 2 is a really, really powerful one, and it happened last summer. In July, I had a really strong urge. My business was going really well. I was still doing it on the side. I still had a 9 to 5 working at a bank. It was going really well. I was really happy with how it was going, and I was transitioning more into content. So as you know, I started off as a virtual assistant, slowly transitioned into just more content focused things for my clients, not so much like administrative things anymore. I really wanted to focus on the creative side. It was going really well, going really steady, but I still wanted to get to the next level and make it my full-time job. I talked to a coach, I think it was probably like in July of last year, and that first initial call with her, I told her that by the first week of October, I have a cottage trip with my girlfriends, and I want to tell them that I am officially a full-time business owner. That is my goal. I can just see it in my mind. And she's like, no problem. We are going to get you there. Like if you're open to it and if you're ready to, have that mindset towards that goal, it is possible. Because I knew for a fact that I could just like leave my job and be a full-time business owner at any time. But I wanted to make sure that I wasn't putting myself in a position where I would get stressed out, that I wouldn't have everything I needed. Now it's blue. I digress. I wanted to be in a position where I could still pay my bills, I can still contribute to my daily life. And so I made a plan to be like, okay, how much do I need to do what I need to do to live my life? So, pay the rent, be able to get health insurance, and do all the things that I need, get the groceries, all that. I didn't hate my job. I just knew that I wanted to do something more. And I knew that having my 9 to 5 and working on my business was not sustainable for a long period of time to do them both at the same time. So that was my goal. And I shit you not, I had my last day at my job the week before my trip to see my high school girlfriends at that cottage, at that cottage trip. So I gave my month's notice, I think like at the end of August or something like that. And I gave like a month's notice because I was the only one doing the job that I had at the bank. And so I wanted to end on good terms and find someone that could replace me and I could help her and train her. And so I lined it up all perfectly so that I finish my job at like my 9 to 5. And the next weekend after that was my cottage trip. I felt like I was compelled to tell you these 2 stories because I really, really love them. And it really motivates me every time that I'm down or I feel like something doesn't work. I'm on the wrong path. I'm just reminded of those times and know that everything will fall into place. If it's something that you truly want, you can truly go for it. Was that too much babbling? I'm parched. I hope you enjoyed this little story time, and if you would like to see more of my online business journey, if you'd like to see more tips on content and behind the scenes of my small business journey, then you can subscribe to that channel. I'll see you in the next one.